Hello, my friends. I'm Vanessa Matthews, and today I have a really short and simple low back routine that's going to help you first to loosen up those muscles that are pulling on your low back and potentially causing pain, but we're also going to work on strengthening the foundational muscles that support the spine and make you feel strong. So we're just going to jump right into it. You don't need shoes for this little routine. You don't even need a mat. You can do this just about anywhere. So we're going to start in a child's pose position. We're going to go through a couple of yoga poses in the very beginning. Yoga is so amazing for loosening up your low back. So starting in child's pose, you have your knees dropped out nice and wide and just sit back on your heels. And so you can walk your fingertips forward and just kind of feel your entire back lengthening. And take a nice deep breath. And I love to just walk the hands over to one side and get a nice stretch down one side of your back. Actually, we're stretching out some big back muscles. They're called your lats. And they attach from the underneath point of your shoulder right here all the way down to your low back where most of us feel a lot of pain. Go ahead and walk it on over to the other side. Take a nice deep breath and let it go. All right, and then we're going to move into the cat-cow position. So coming up onto your hands and knees. Again, I love to do these to start out my yoga routines. You're just going to round your back and sort of point the crown of your head down to the floor. And then as you press your belly button down to the floor, look straight ahead, almost gazing up towards the corner of the ceiling. And then do that again. When you round up, you could just kind of play around in this cat position a little bit. I like to just feel what my back is doing today and, just ask your body what's going on. So you can kind of rock side to side, whatever feels good to you. And then let's go ahead and come back to that cow position. And then one more. Good stretch all the way on the back side of the body. Okay, now from here, we're gonna jump right into some of our strengthening exercises. So we're gonna start with the bird dog exercise. This one, you really just wanna focus on keeping your back nice and flat. So you're not gonna sort of like rotate your hips open. You really wanna keep it nice and flat. So you could balance a glass of water right there and you wouldn't spill it. So from this hands and knees position, extend the opposite arm and opposite leg. And then just bring them back down, bring the hand and the knee to touch the floor at the same time. And then switch, really reaching and stretching from the fingertips to the toes, but keeping the hips square to the floor. So what I recommend is that you do this exercise for 1 full minute. The number of reps you get isn't as important as focusing on your form and keeping your abs kind of pulled in and up the whole time. I always like to tell my clients to imagine that you're zipping up a tight pair of jeans. So you would just kind of suck that low belly in and up in order to get those jeans to fit. Okay, once you've completed 1 minute of the bird dog, what we're gonna do is come down all the way down into your belly and do the Superman exercise. So you're just gonna reach your arms overhead. You can start with your face or down onto your mat, and as we lift up, you're going to lift your arms and legs at the same time. So your gaze, I want you to be looking right at the front edge of the mat in front of you or your imaginary mat, and then release. So what you're going to do is lift and hold for 2 to 3 seconds, and then lower down and relax. So lift and hold and lower down and relax. You might be able to do this exercise for a full minute. However, 30 seconds is fantastic. Start with 30 seconds and then build your way up to 1 minute. Final exercise in this position, we're gonna do the swimmer. So the opposite arm and opposite leg are gonna move at the same time and lift. Now notice how my head is lifting with my arm. My head is always going to lift as the arm lifts every single time. And I'm not looking straight ahead, right? Because this is like really hard on the neck. And your neck is just an extension of your spine. Okay, another 30 seconds here. And then relax. So what we're going to do is we're going to transition now. But first, I want you to come back for one more child's pose. Because you're feeling a little tightness right there from that exercise you just did. Okay, a little tightness, a little burn is a good thing. I don't want you to feel any sharp pains in your back ever. So you listen to your body, and anytime you feel something that doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Remember that. Okay, so that little child's pose felt amazing. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna come all the way back onto our backs for a couple more strengthening exercises, and we're gonna finish with a few more stretches. So from here, we're gonna bring the legs right up into tabletop position. So we're gonna do tabletop hold. So from here, your knees right over top of your hips. I want you to focus though on pulling your low back to the floor. So that might mean that you need to rock these hips back just a little bit more until you feel that flat on the mat, and then start to push the knees away from your body. Okay, so here we go. What you're gonna do is push away on the knees as you just very gently push back onto the hands with your knees, keeping your low back flat on the mat. I'm laughing because I cannot even breathe as I do this. Okay, so focus on your breath and hold this position, creating that equal and opposite force on your hands and your knees. Whew, and then relax, bringing those knees into your chest. So see if you can do that one for 15 seconds. Maybe hop back up and do another 15-second round until you're able to hold that position for 30 total seconds or more. Okay, so let's just kind of go now into a couple of stretches. So you can rock side to side a little bit with your knees in. You can relax your head down and just kind of give your back a nice little massage now. Okay, next what you're gonna do is just extend your right leg, bring your left knee into your chest here, and just kind of really loosening up one side. Go ahead and push that knee across your body. We're gonna go into a spinal twist. So you look in the opposite direction. Look at that hand you have extended out to the left, and really just pull this knee across. So we're really just kind of wringing out the low back like a sponge. And then bring it back across. Switch knees. So now I'm pulling my right knee in. Maybe you did the right knee first. Doesn't matter, just make sure you do the opposite side. Pull that knee in. Take a deep breath, and then push that knee over to the other side. Look in the opposite direction and get that spinal twist. Oh, I just heard my back crack a little bit. Feels really good in this position. I could just hang out here all day, but we have a couple more stretches to go through. Okay, next we're gonna do the figure 4 stretch. So cross one leg over, it doesn't matter which one, I got my left leg. Reach through to the bottom leg and pull both of those knees in towards your chest. Yes, even this stretch helps you out with low back pain, because when we have a tight piriformis muscle, so this is sort of like a little tiny muscle in the back of your glute, your medial glute, really starts to pull on your low back as well. You get so many little muscles that affect how your back feels. So it's really important to make sure we stretch them out. Go ahead and switch legs. So now I'm going to cross the right leg over top of my knee, reach through and pull both of those knees in, nice and close to my body. I hope you're doing it with me too, and you're not just watching. All right, take this time for yourself. And then go ahead and release. So one final stretch. You're gonna come up onto two knees, okay? So if you need, you can have an extra towel or blanket underneath of your knees for some more cushion. And what you're gonna do is just bring one knee out in front of you, okay? So as if we're just gonna propose to somebody. And so we're gonna really loosen up the hip flexors in this stretch, just kind of pushing the hips forward, just leaning forward into this stretch. Slightly feeling this hip on the knee that's down. All right, nice deep breaths as you feel that hip stretch. And then we're gonna switch. Bring the opposite knee in front. And again, just listen to your body. Only go as far as you feel comfortable, but lean forward until you really feel this nice deep hip stretch. That feels so good. And breathe. Go ahead and bring it back in. Come back on your knees. Thank you so much for being here with me today and spending some time to just love on your low back a little bit so you can feel better in everything you do. I'll talk to you soon.